Tony, just what did you see from Chase Dolander tonight, him going up against that lineup?
Yeah, I mean, I think he has been this. He was the same as he's been, which has been excellent. And then the lineup, without any disrespect to anyone else, is different. It's a really good lineup. So you kind of had a clash of the Titans, if you will, and they're going to get theirs at some point. So the key for him, I think, was, kind of the old NFL or whatever college defense thing, bend don't break. And I thought he did a nice job of that. But he also kind of seemed to pick up a little steam as the game went on, and obviously wanted to stay in the game. Small conversation out there, but he did a great job for us, and it was time to go.
And what went into those final 2 innings for him? He was so effective there.
I think a little bit of a confidence builder throughout those mid-innings where he was able to get out of some jams has something to do with it. Also our offense was grinding out some at-bats. We didn't have hugely productive innings, but we at least gave him a little bit of a breather there. But, other than that, it's got to be something internal from him because his stuff was good from the get-go, but there was a little something there. And that's what, great competitors do, or in particular pitchers, because they got the ball in their hand. They can dictate a little bit more action. I guess when the going gets tough, you get tough or something like that.
What was his argument trying to stay in and to face Cruz?
It was a crappy one. It was they said let him get to 101 pitches. I don't know what he finished at.
99.
You're going to get that guy out in 2 pitches? You might hit it into outer space on one of the first 2, but it was what we mapped out and we went with it. And sometimes you can get yourself into trouble doing that. But we were kind of trying to go on the fly as the game went on because it's chaos time of year with the tournament and all. And like the way we did it. I mean, Mark did a nice job. Take a single against that guy any day of the week. Maybe better if he throws strike 1 right out of the chute, but Mark did a nice job, and then obviously Kirby got us out of the inning as he's been throwing real well for us.
How encouraging was it to see Jordan bounce back at the plate tonight, get you guys on the board so early?
It was, but I don't know why I'm supposed to be focused on the game. I knew y'all were going to ask me that. He's been the same guy for 4 weeks, in my opinion. Last night I think was right on pitches and pulled off them. Other than that, a couple balls at Starkville were absolutely scorched. He just didn't get anything out of them. A couple big home runs. I said it last night, so he's fine. He's filling a big presence in that lineup. So, either him or Drew or Jake Rucker for us last year. I mean, Seth, all he's got to do is draw 1 walk or get on base, hit by pitch 1 time. Each guy you can quantify a quality day different for each. And you can have really high standards and say, I hope you get a bunch of hits. But for him, just filling that 3-hole with that presence I'll take that all day long. And it'd be nice. If no one wants to draft him, we'll take him next year in that spot too.
How big is it to get the rotation set up the way it is now? Get the Pro Birds tomorrow and Beam on Sunday if you make it there.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll kind of discuss how we want to do tomorrow, and I don't even know what time we play, or obviously we don't know who will play. But yeah, we'll figure it out. I think the key is a couple of guys, in particular Tidwell and Dolander, who were not really in a rhythm in the season, got in one.
What about Luke and Gilbert? They just seem to be coming alive these last few series, and the energy they bring back to the dugout.
Yeah, I mean, 2 different types of energies, but both kind of leaders and bring their own energy in their own way. And Luke's really good at getting on base. He just is, because his at-bats are always competitive, and obviously whatever his numbers are, he can damage the baseball as well as any guy we got in the lineup. And then this is Drew's time of year, He's a fighter and a competitor, and if you don't have that in you, you'll kind of get swallowed up because it's not going to be comfortable from here on out. And I was comfortable because it was a pretty cool environment, but when you're on the field, your heart's going to maybe beat a little faster. There's going to be different things that come with it, so you got to handle it.
Tony, Chase isn't really one of the guys that shows a lot of emotion when he's out there on the mound, but after that 5th inning where infield had a couple errors, what would you see from him and then the team's response at the bottom of the 5th?
Yeah, I think a little bit of that, my read on that was he's picking up his teammates. I think they've played excellent defense behind him this year, and a little bit of a favor return, if you will. So you're right. I mean, trust me, he's got emotions going on, but he's very under control with his body language and a lot more confident or, swagger or any of that stuff that goes on behind the scenes or if you know him. But for the most part, he wants to be under control and utilize his stuff, which I'll take that all day long. But every now and then, your heart's, not in your chest if you don't show some excitement with some things that go on, again, this time of year, just in any SEC game.
What did you see from Redmond those last 2 innings and him tying Todd Helton's save record over the course of his career?
Yeah, that's a little difference in size right there. Geez. We got Evan Russell and Redmond Walsh, two intramural guys mentioned with Todd Helton in those two
And
categories.
Luke right behind him.
Well, Luke's good. You know that it's great for him. I mean, that was a well-earned one, and I think he really kind of gutted through the thing because the guys, their lineup's really good, and the guys were on what he was throwing more so than the average cat. You know, and the park was kind of playing big for both teams, so he utilized the park and threw strikes. I mean, the one walk, he was right around the plate. He just, you know, lost the guy, but gutted it out is the best way I can say it, and good for him to have that individual deal. That's something he'll be able to remember and throw around the clubhouse when he returns to campus. But for now, I'm sure he wants the ball again tomorrow.
Tony, how do you, and I know y'all have had a lot of interesting things this week timing-wise. The game that starts at like past 11 o'clock your time.
Yeah.
How do you go about handling guys in a day like that where they got to wait so long?
Yeah, you know, I do think that's a strength of this group. I mean, we all, including myself, do have some weaknesses, but I think the one thing they have is kind of manage their deal that's off the field. I mean, we probably have more mistakes, I don't want to say behavior-wise, on the field than we do off the field. So it's not cocky or anything. It's a strength of them, and it's not a worry for our coaches. Check in on them every now and then, suggest things, hydrate when it's hot, stuff like that the average coach would do. But probably because of guys like Luke and Redmond and Evan Russell, they're pretty good in those categories.
Talked a lot the last year about how special the crowd was at the championship game. On a Friday night for Tennessee fans to kind of go toe for toe with a fan base that always is well represented here. How cool was that to see?
It was awesome. You know, we come out of the locker room and it's tough. You want to stay out of the team's way, and then last night our guys were way too slow getting out of the dugout. You know, we're all in the elevator together. There's some awkwardness that happens, but the one thing you got to concern yourself with is you only got 30 minutes to kind of roll into the next game. So I hustled out here on the field, and I was kind of shocked, you know, just at how many people were here in general, and then how many fans we had, and then it was good. They were all kind of on our side. So it was all both sides. I mean, I said it in my in-game interview, you know, two pretty cool different cultures. I've been in both states a lot in my life now, and both very different, but both pretty cool. I hope Tennessee don't mind me saying that. So to have them all here kind of shows you what the SEC's got going, but also what these two schools have.
How did the atmosphere tonight rank in games that you've been a coach at here at Tennessee?
Oh, I don't know. That's tough. It's different because it's almost kind of that neutral site thing. I mean, when I was younger, bragging rights was the thing. It was fighting Illinois against Missouri in basketball, and you kind of had 50-50 down the line, both sides had equal amount of fans, and they were into it nonstop, and it reminded me of that. So I don't know where it would rank baseball-wise, but it reminded me of, I guess, some good childhood stuff.
You guys headed to the semifinals. You're going to play a team that you've seen before, either LSU tonight or Kentucky. Just what did you learn from LSU, and then what are you expecting out of the semifinals?
Yeah, I mean, incredibly talented. We knew that last year when we played them. There's a lot of familiar faces. Granted, there's a new coaching staff, and there are some guys that are different, but they've got guys like the guy who finished the game. That's pretty dang good, especially I know he didn't throw the way he wanted to last time we saw him. He's improved. And then the guys at the plate, they're just, like I said, a lot of familiar faces from last year that did a lot of damage, not just in Knoxville, the games we played them, but other places too. So they got a good arsenal in that lineup for sure, regardless of who's healthy and who's not.
One more for Coach.
At least statistically, their lineup is very comparable to yours. Just what do you remember about Chase and the way he attacked your guys in the fall, and what do you think it is about him that kind of allows him to handle a lineup that potent with so much success?
I think different. I mean, our guys benefit from things like we've got a bunch of left-handed pitchers, but also we've got a bunch of guys with big stuff, and it makes our hitters better. And then you can flip it too. And I mean, Doe did not attack our hitters like he did tonight. I mean, he's a different guy than he was in the fall. Not that he was bad in the fall, but I think having to navigate his way through, even if we split the lineups in two, and some days we stacked it against him, it helps him prepare for this. There's no question. So I like the fact we got some depth on both sides. It's probably affected a little bit of the season that we've had so far to this point. So not quite the same when you throw them all together for the purple and gold, but he attacked those guys differently in the fall, and I think it's because of preparation.